After defeating Piccolo, Goku returned to his rigorous training within Gero's laboratory. He enjoyed challenging himself against the Doctor's newest simulations and inventions. As time goes on, Dr. Gero continues to improve Goku, adding power enhancements, more energy reserves, and a little failsafe if things were to go wrong. Goku didn't mind any of this, as he really did enjoy getting stronger and more powerful, despite the method being a little extreme. Vami, however, noticed much more of a change in Goku, more so than just a power increase. Unlike before, Goku didn't smile as much. He seemed much more quiet and focused, and overwhelmingly cold. Dr. Gero had stated that he wished for Goku to prove his strength at the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, for all to see how over these 3 years, he's gotten so much stronger. What malicious plan does the evil Dr. Gero have in mind? We'll find out, but first, don't forget to subscribe, like, and click the bell icon so you never miss the best Dragon Ball what-ifs out there. The like goal for this video is 3,000 likes. Anyways, let's continue with the story. Vami had a suspicion that this personality change in Goku was due to Gero making upgrades with Goku. 3 years passed on quickly, and Goku's power grew dramatically. Dr. Gero was extremely proud, and so was Vami, to some degree. Despite Vami's concerns, both she and Gero thought of Goku as their son. The day of the tournament arrived, and all three of them made their way to the tournament grounds. Gero and Vami stood in their stands, while Goku joined in the rest of the competition. He kept to himself, but couldn't help but notice occasional stares from a small group of people. The said small group was made up of Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu. Eventually, Krillin walks up to Goku, a hurt and confused look on his face.
Why are you ignoring us, Goku? We haven't seen or heard of you in years. You completely blank us. What did we do to make you run away from all of us, Goku? You have no idea how worried we've all been. Roshi, Bulma, all of us.
Goku looked at the shorter man, still completely confused, then said, "Sorry, but I think you must be mistaking me for someone else. I've never seen you or any of those people in my life, nor do I know of those other names you've mentioned." Krillin teared up, but before he could say anything else, he was called for his preliminary battle. Reluctantly, he left Goku, though he wasn't giving up just yet. He'd just have to get Bulma and Master Roshi to help him remember. He'd never give up on his best friend. Moments after Krillin left, a tall figure approached Goku. This one, however, he recognized as none other than Piccolo, or rather Piccolo Jr. Goku confidently looked up at his adversary. Piccolo glared back, but had a smug look, because he too was confident of his own power. He couldn't feel any ki coming from Goku at all, but he was too overconfident to think any of it. The preliminary matches went by quickly, and we end up with a similar lineup as in the original series. Kami was of course undercover, using Hero's body as his disguise. He was there for Piccolo, but he did predict that there would be some equally, if not more dangerous threat out there than him. The moment he saw Goku, he was the one he needed to be wary of. No key signal, but as the Guardian of Earth, he could feel the anger this being gave off. Goku approached another contestant, Mercenary Tao. He looked slightly different, however. He was now fitted with metal enhancements, making him similar to Goku. Of course, the reason Tao underwent this process was because of his defeat at Goku's hand, though Goku doesn't remember that at all. Him and Goku had met before Goku had turned either of them into a cyborg. That's right, in this timeline, Dr. Gero himself was the one to turn Tao into one of his creations. Tao looked at Goku up and down before speaking.
Yeah. Just because you're the Doctor's new favorite doesn't mean you're any stronger than me. I was equipped with state-of-the-art enhancement and easily outmatch you. Just because we're both products of that scientist doesn't mean we're friends. I'll make sure you know that when I beat you in the finale.
Goku responded by telling him that he'd be proven wrong, as he knew for sure that he was the superior creation. Tao gritted his teeth in irritation and left to prepare for his match.
Hey kids, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the video thus far. If you like this sort of content, want to see more, and support the channel, then consider becoming a Patreon. There, you can help support the channel through various tiers while getting some perks of your own. As a Patreon, you will be helping improve the videos, get them out faster, fund the awesome thumbnails, editing, and much more. Overall, this is the best way to ensure that I can keep providing you guys with awesome Dragon Ball content. Plus, you get some neat perks, like an extra discussion video every other week, early access to videos such as this one, and behind-the-scenes content. So be sure to go to patreon.com/SmugStick and consider supporting the channel. Thank you to all the current patrons for your support, and let's get back into the story.
And now back to our show.
The first match began, and Tien made quick work of Tao's moves, to everyone's surprise. Goku in particular was shocked, as while he knew he himself had better technology, he didn't think Tao's technology was so outdated and weak in comparison. Tien left the stage, and the next match began. Goku stepped to the arena as a young girl followed. The announcer revealed her to be named Miss Anonymous, and she looked at Goku with a fierce glare. The woman looked furious and kept staring at him and telling him how horrible he was for forgetting her. Not only did Goku not seem to remember her, but he also looked at her coldly. He simply stated that he did not care who she was, and that she was in the way. Miss Anonymous attacked him with a flurry of jabs. Goku easily evaded all of them before hitting her hard in the chest, winding her. After recovering, she rushed towards him. The unknown warrior was an excellent martial artist, and her technique was perfect. Ultimately, Goku was just simply stronger. They battled for some time, and nothing changed. Goku would evade her and then strike her with extreme force. Gero and Vami were watching this match from the sidelines, both impressed with Goku's strength, but Vami couldn't help but look on in horror as she saw how cold Goku had become. He wasn't fighting with pride or honor, but he was enjoying himself as he picked this woman apart. The fight began to drag out, and Goku's attacks only became more violent to the point where he broke her arm. The girl screamed and began to cry, asking Goku what happened to him, that he wasn't the kind, sweet boy she remembered falling in love with. Goku didn't even react as he threw her out of bounds, saying, "Why would I ever fall in love with someone the likes of you? Pathetic. I have better things to do and focus on than that." The crowd looked on in horror, and soon enough boos began erupting from the stands. The announcer ran to the woman, and she was taken to the infirmary. Immediately, Goku simply glared at her coldly and left the stage. Vami was horrified and couldn't help but shake a little. What had they done? What had they created? This is not what she wanted at all. They were given a second chance to raise a son. They just created a cold-hearted monster instead. She was so upset about all these events that she left the tournament stands alone. Gero simply whispered a small, pathetic, under his breath as he watched his wife go. An evil grin adorned his face as a new plan started to form in his mind. Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien all confronted Goku about what just happened. Yamcha was extremely appalled and upset about what he witnessed, asking Goku how he could do that to Chi-Chi. Goku turned to face him before stating matter-of-factly, "I have no memory of that woman, nor of you. So if you were wise, and get out of my face before I do what I did to her. To you." The three of them were shocked and confused. Goku really had no memory of any of them. He was nothing like the happy-go-lucky child they once knew. Krillin and Yamcha swore that they'd get to the bottom of this. Meanwhile, Vami confronted Doctor Gero. After speaking those last words, she began to cry. Gero gritted his teeth.
We have nothing to fear. We have no time for this. You're letting your emotions cloud your judgment. Perhaps you too need some new upgrades so you can see my vision. You should be proud that our son is as powerful as he is. He's an improvement on our last failure of a son.
This was all she could take before blasting him. But to her surprise, the blast dissipated in his palm. Gero gritted before turning her off, using a failsafe he had built into her, back in the lab. Dr. Gero had used Goku to help him upgrade himself into this new robotic body. Goku felt that something was off and tried to disregard it. The match continued on. Next was Piccolo Jr. versus Krillin, and as he watched, he couldn't help but feel his heart ache. What was going on with him? He kept thinking about that girl in the hospital. Did she really know him, or was she lying? Was this short man fighting right now really his best friend? How could that be when he has no memory of any of that? Goku was trying his hardest to keep these anxieties at bay, but it was no use. The short man would lose the match to Piccolo, and Goku started to feel deep rage. But where was this coming from? Soon enough, the next match began. It was between that Yamcha person who kept confronting him and this weird old dude. Something was incredibly wrong with him. Unbeknownst to Goku, this weird dude was the Guardian of Earth, and was here for Piccolo. But while participating in the tournament, his attention had actually shifted to Goku. Compared to Piccolo, Goku was much more of a threat, one which needed to be dealt with right now. He was an unknown. Kami couldn't sense his ki, nor could he gauge whether his intentions were good or evil. He fought against Yamcha and won, to everyone's surprise. Goku and Piccolo both knew all along that this mysterious hero guy was hiding something. Eventually, this would come to light when Piccolo and Hero faced up against each other. Before the match could happen though, Goku and Ten Shinhan fought. Similarly to Goku's previous match, this one was completely one-sided. Goku looked like he was in a lot more stress as he tried to repress all his anxieties. And it showed in his fighting. His moves were more violent and much more aggressive than usual, but also more imprecise. Even so, Portien was on the receiving end, and just like Chi-Chi ended up losing the match by a ring out. But only after sustaining multiple broken bones and many fractures. Hero watched this, and his worries only grew. He knew he had to act now. The next match started, and he and Piccolo made their way to the stage. They stared each other down, and then, nothing. Well, to everyone else it looked like nothing, but the two fighters were actually communicating telepathically. It was actually Piccolo who initiated this, saying that he felt Kami's worries about Goku, and he too felt something needed to be done. Kami was taken aback by this, and hesitated. Sure, this Goku guy was a threat to the planet, but was he so much of a threat that he needed to do something so reckless as to team up with Piccolo? Piccolo also looked stressed. It's not like he was keen on this idea either, but he was keen on gaining power. A minute passed. Then suddenly Hero's eyes opened. He looked at Goku on the silence, then back at Piccolo.
This won't be permanent. I will stop you one day, Piccolo.
Piccolo simply smirked back at Kami. As he approached, he left Hero's body and looked at his counterpart. Piccolo stretched out his hand, and in a blinding light, the two of them merged and became one. They became their original being, and he burst open his aura, demonstrating his newfound power. Not really sure what to make of these events, the announcer declares that Piccolo is the winner, as Hero just lays on the ground unconscious. The final match is about to begin. Goku and Piccolo face one another, as the announcer starts to count down. The match starts, and they begin immediately, rushing at each other, their attacks too fast for the naked eye to see. Only their clashes are heard as they battle out. Despite having fused with his alternate self, Piccolo is still at an extreme disadvantage. Goku had been upgraded by the Doctor significantly a number of times since he last faced King Piccolo. One of the many upgrades was that his energy reserves were changed from having a set amount to being infinite. This was a huge deal. Piccolo began to get tired as the fight went on, and Goku didn't falter. As the fight continued, he started to hear the words of encouragement from the sidelines. The woman whom he had heard in the first match was there and was shouting words of encouragement. Krillin and Yamcha were doing the same thing, despite Goku saying that he could not remember them at all. They just wanted him to win and defeat Piccolo, but more so, just come out of the fight alive and well. Goku couldn't help but question their motives, and wondered why he had no recollection of them during the battle. Goku kept on beating on Piccolo, not having any regard on how destructive he was being. Piccolo was losing, and fast. Goku didn't let up, and knocked Piccolo out of the ring and unconscious with one hard final blow. Goku wasn't satisfied. This wasn't a challenge, it was too easy. He was frustrated, and it didn't help that these people kept acting as if they knew him. Goku knew that he didn't know them, so why did he feel so sick and uneasy whenever they said his name? It was all too much for Goku, and he fled the tournament arena. He kept on flying, not knowing or even caring what he was going to do. After some time, he landed and walked up to a hill, to the top of a mountain where he found a small house with a blue painted roof. He was lucky there was no one there, and it looked like the place had been abandoned for a number of years. He sat outside of the house. For the first time in what felt like years, felt relaxed. He couldn't remember the last time he felt like this. During his time training with Gero, he had only felt calm when he was with his mother, Vami. Goku felt guilty when he thought about her. He at least wanted her to know that he was safe, but he didn't want to see Gero. He couldn't trust them. Not now, after what all those people in the arena had said. Goku was hesitant to think it, but he was starting to worry that Dr. Gero had altered his memory somehow. He knew that it was not normal for him to not have any memories at this age. Dr. Gero must have done something. Maybe Vami was in on it too. No, he shook his head and laid down. For the time being, this is where Goku would call his new home. Dr. Gero would spend the next few years looking for Goku, but he felt like he was betrayed by him. First his wife, now him. He had lost 2 sons, and his wife wanted nothing to do with him. And his other child, well, he didn't even know where they were. He knew they had gotten married, but that's all he knew. He looked for Goku everywhere, but maybe he upgraded him too much. Because every time he seemed to get close to him, Goku would disappear from his radars, flying far, far away. And so, 4 years passed by, and in those 4 years, Goku would remain on Mount Paozu. He didn't want to see Gero, the man who raised him, but also who potentially stole his memories. He knew that even if he did go back, he wouldn't give them back to him, and he still didn't know how much power he had over him. What if there was a failsafe, or a way for the doctor to just switch him off? Goku didn't know and didn't want to risk it. He had been okay all these years he spent in solitude, and that was good enough. Solitude may not have been the most accurate way to describe it, however. Through the years, Bulma, Krillin, Master Roshi, Yamcha, and Tien had all visited him. Most importantly though was Chi-Chi, the girl he had heard during that tournament. She visited him daily, and would always bring him a warm meal. Goku loved her company, as well as her cooking. Even still, he couldn't remember any of them, and it took a long time for him to trust them. In fact, they got in quite a bit of fights. He had let Bulma take a look at him, just in case there was an easy way for him to regain his memories, but even Bulma was stumped on how Gero had gone about removing them. All she could do for now was remove a tracking chip that was placed in him. But Bulma knew that if she tried to perform a more serious surgery on Goku, it would result in his current memories being either messed up or deleted altogether, so she thought it was best not to meddle. Krillin was the one to suggest they use the Dragon Balls to restore them, but Bulma reminded him how the Dragon Balls had all suddenly gone inactive, and were no longer giving a signal. The group wasn't entirely sure about what happened though, but they were sure that it had something to do with Piccolo, who had not been seen in many years. In the end, Goku just accepted his fate and decided that he'd just have to make new memories with everyone. Though the group found this news saddening, they agreed. In the meantime, Dr. Gero carries on his research and keeps on making new androids. He classifies Goku as being a rogue android, a failure if you will. He needs new androids in order to protect himself in case he ever comes across him, as well as for his future plans of world domination. And as for Vami, no one knew where she had been in the past few years. But Dr. Gero simply took steps forward, as he placed a hand on his new computer, smirking, wondering how long it would take for him to get to the 21st android. Thank you for watching, everyone. Android Goku's always one that I want to do, but it takes a little longer than the other ones for some reason. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the design for Android Goku, the one in the thumbnail particularly. Huge thank you to my girlfriend Novaria_8 on Twitter for helping me write this story, the Maniac Gamer for editing the video, and Junior Sama for the thumbnail. And above even that, thank you all of the Patreons of the channel. If you want to help me get more videos out, that's the best way to do it. Angel MR, Celestia, Lee Urquidez, The Gaming Galaxy, Trent Rolls, D Miles, Dakota Kaiser, D-Man Plays, Ghost 1571, Drown Foster, Jim G, Keith Grimes, Orange Bag YT, PJ9D III, Salil Paranjape, Samuel Randall, Squad 100, True Lightning Striker, Dreadpool, Aubao de Reg, Phil J. Akir, Kaiser Jirachi, and Jonas Paulus. It's thanks to you guys that I can do this. If you haven't, consider becoming a Patreon. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and until we meet again, see ya!